I just wanted to share a recent addition I made to my Dillon 1050 press. I like to look in every case to check the powder levels, especially when I'm running 9 major like I am today. And I was using a little magnetic inspection mirror, had a magnetic base, so I stuck it on the tool head and I was able to check the powder levels in each case as it came through. Now the problem with that, it worked well, but the problem is I had to hold my head very still to be able to see in every case. I couldn't move around really, which wasn't a big deal, but I saw some advertisements for this. I want to say it was like a $200 camera system. I thought that camera system looked pretty cool, but I wasn't willing to pay that kind of price for it when my little $10 inspection mirror worked all right. So then I started looking around at backup cameras on Amazon, and I was able to find this kit, which comes with a monitor and a camera, as you see here. I'll include the links below. I'm sure there are other probably better options, but in case you want to follow these instructions exactly, I'll include the links to what I bought below. So first things first, I had a piece of flat aluminum bar left over from another project that hopefully I'll be making a video for soon. It's a GoPro hat mount. So anyway, piece of aluminum flat bar. The camera comes with this little mounting bracket on the back. I just drilled a couple holes that were just slightly smaller than the screws, and they're just a snug friction fit. They kind of bit into the aluminum and screwed right in there. And then I bought a U-bolt, which I believe is 1 1/8 inches. The square tubing on the press is 1 inch, so that fits right around it. Drilled a couple holes in the aluminum bar and just tighten the nuts down on the back side. So then the monitor mount comes with this articulating mount that you can see where it attaches, and I didn't really know a good way to mount it to the square tubing on the press. I didn't want to permanently drill holes or anything, so a couple zip ties going across each other seemed to work really well. It is holding up very stable, and it's got a it can move around. Like I said, it's an articulating mount, so you can adjust the view as needed. I'll go through what it looks like when you're loading first. I've turned off the case feeder and the bullet feeder, so it'll keep the noise level down a little bit. So you can see there, I can see in the case that is right underneath the bullet feeder. It has just been charged. I can see the powder level in that case, and that's what I'm keyed in on. As the tool head comes back up, I check to see, as that case is rotating around, that the bullet was fed correctly, that it is upright and ready to be seated. Anyway, we'll show you what it looks like as we're loading. Load a few rounds. All right, now that you've seen what it looks like when you're loading, and you've seen the basics on how to mount it to the press, I'll go through the rest of it. So the first things first is to hook up the monitor. You've got this cable right here coming out of the monitor, and it comes with a little, I guess, wiring harness is the best way to put it. And it's got a matching connector on it. You'll see there is a bar there inside the male connector, and there's also a slot in the female connector. Make sure those are lined up correctly. It shouldn't be too terribly difficult to do. So on the other end of that harness, you have a few things coming out. You have, I believe this is an RCA type video connector, male and female. And you also have a few different wires. So since this is a backup camera made for a car, You would typically wire up the blue to the reverse light, you'd wire up the red to the power, and the black to the ground. Because you've also got to power the camera, which I'll mention in a minute, so I bought a splitter. So on one end of the splitter you have a female port for a barrel plug. On the other end you've got two male ports for a barrel plug. I cut one of the barrel plugs off and I directly wired it in. So I put the blue and the red wires to the red wire of the splitter, and then the black wire to the black wire. I soldered those together, put a little bit of heat shrink on them to secure them. So this is the cord coming out of the camera. The red is the power. That goes to the barrel plug on the remaining barrel plug on the splitter. And then you've got a female video. That plugs into the male video from the wiring harness. This other female, I believe, is an output if you wanted to plug into a DVD player or potentially another monitor or something. I believe it's just extra. I'm not using it, so you don't need it. The only other thing you need is DC power going to this female port that will power both the camera and the monitor. Now, I happen to have a DC power supply from a set of LED lights for one of my other presses, so I'm using that, and it seems to work out pretty well. So just take the barrel plug from it, plug it into the female side for the camera and the monitor. Now, for whatever reason, every time I flip it on, I get this no signal screen. And you'll see that it's backwards, and I'll show you what's going on with that in a second. So all I have to do is select source, or video 1, video 2, and it comes on. Let's get that focused. Now, the reason that it's backwards is because of the way I have my camera wired. The camera is reversible. You can flip it upside down. I like it this way because I haven't been able to figure out how to get rid of those guidelines at the top of the screen, which are made to help you when you're backing up a car, which is what this is intended purpose is for. So it's got 4 different ways to view it. That's the normal way. You've also got the reverse of that, the horizontal reverse, and then you can also go vertical that way and this way. Now, this is my preference since the press rotates this way, clockwise as you see it. If I were just standing looking at over that position, this is what my view would be, so that's how I prefer it. Like I said, the lines are at the top of the screen. They're out of my way. I don't really pay attention to them, so it seems to work out. Now, one of the cool things about this camera is it's got lights built in, like a ring light built all the way around it. It's really handy. You can actually turn off all the lights in the room except for this light mounted to the camera, and it'll still light up the shell plate plenty enough to see down in each case. Now, it does kind of make a little bit of a glare, so it can be hard to tell the powder level. It kind of shines off the case because the lights are so bright. So what I did, and it's going to be very difficult to see in this from this camera or from this video, but I actually took a Sharpie and colored on some of those LEDs, or colored on all of them. Now, it's didn't completely blacken them out, but it's enough that it dims them just a little bit to where it's not so bright and doesn't cause so much of a glare to where you can't see down in the case. And it seems to work out pretty well. I actually just did that today, and I'm liking it so far. And with a little bit of acetone, I'm sure I could clean that up if I needed to, but I'm liking the way it looks so far. The camera and the monitor come together in a kit, which will be linked in the comments below. They were around $50 because I opted for the 7-inch monitor, which isn't necessarily needed. The splitter, I believe, was another maybe $10 or so, and I already had the power supply, so I didn't factor that in. But for, say, $60 or even cheaper than that, they have cameras with a smaller screen that run about $25, $30. I just like the bigger screen, and as you can see, I've actually got it in more of a standard mode. You can it comes with a remote, and you can select the remote for a widescreen view, whichever you prefer, but it does both. I was actually using the widescreen until today. I flipped it the other way, and I liked it was kind of squared off. So that's your preference. Like I said, for about 60 bucks plus the cost of a power adapter, which shouldn't be very expensive, you can install a camera that allows you to see into every case if that's important to you, which I like doing. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. I am no expert by any means, but this was a pretty easy, about an hour-long project to get set up and all. So if you enjoyed the video, if you liked it, please hit that thumbs up below. Subscribe to my channel. I hope to be doing some more of these how-to videos soon. They always end up being more of a pain to film and edit than I plan, but I do want to devote some more time in the future to posting these type videos instead of just match videos. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing about what you thought about it below. Thanks.